Good evening, everybody. I am joined once again by the amazing John Lamont, fresh off the campaign for Harpies #1. And we were just talking about how much value Keith Garvey seems to be adding to your numbers.
He seems to, yeah, he's the big name that I have. I'm
He's the
trying
big-
to I'm trying to expand that. We'll see. I want some Garvey's manager reps a few other big names. So I'm trying to negotiate with one of his talent because I can't remember. I'm blanking on the guy's last name. I don't know. Do you know Elias?
Yeah,
He does.
Zaldis.
Yeah. So he's got the same manager. So when his manager told me he reps Elias, I'm like, I want Elias, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh yeah, I can't afford him.
Okay.
So I was like, well, who do you have that's in this range? And he's like, oh, I've got this person and this person. I'm like, ooh. So yeah. I'll talk more about it if I actually can book her. But
there you go.
But I'm trying to and then I was also I'm gonna hire one of Kurt's guys, the guy I shared on the Discord that looks like Jamie Tyndall or somebody like that.
Okay.
Basically, discount Jamie Tyndall, I think.
Okay.
He was like $350.
Sure. I mean,
so,
well, that's a good discount.
Yeah, I could afford that. He's not a name, but if the cover looks good, then it'll be good to round out my
Your what?
It'll be good to round out my covers for issue 2.
Awesome. So. All right. Well, I don't know if Danny will be joining us tonight or not, but one thing I thought we could go over is Serial Twins in comic book format by Rutger Osterhoff. So, we'll see what's happening. I guess I'll narrate, and you can give
do
some
the voices.
Lines. You can do voices.
All right, I'll try to make up character voices for everybody.
Well, we got to
start. This could be fun.
We're going to start with a Jake, who's in Saw Pit, Colorado. Prescott's basement night. Wide shot down the basement stairs. Jake, 49, balding, warm smile, and Karen, blonde hair, angelic face, descend the metal stairs. Identical 4-year-old twins, Megan, black hair, hazel eyes, and Catherine follow hesitantly, clutching their teddy bears. The harsh, dim light casts long shadows across their faces. Okay, yeah. Their footsteps make the chain link fence rattle. Prisoners in various states of despair cower in their cages. Some cry out. On the floor, caked with filth, stands a large meat grinder. A few meters beside it stands a table with dog cans on it.
Megan, Catherine, it's time you two learn how to rid society of its lowlives.
Medium shot, Catherine sits on a stool next to a meat grinder, her face lit by a chilling grin. A dog food can labeled Jake's Chow sits on a table beside her. True shot of the identical twins, Megan and Catherine's wide, terrified eyes stare at Karen. Megan hugs her teddy bear tighter. Catherine starts to cry silently.
What's happening?
Then we got Mommy.
Sniff, sniff.
Yeah. Panel 4, close up. Karen's manic grin stretches as she turns the crank with ease. Human flesh noodles slide out of the grinder into the can. Blood stains her hands.
Dogs just love the taste of human flesh.
Panel 5, medium shot. Jake stands over a workbench with a human leg. With precise strokes, he marks 4 sections on the flesh using a thick black marker.
Precision, girls. Always measure before you cut.
Panel 6, close up. A table saw roars to life beside him, kicking up sparks. Vroom. Panel Page 2, panel 1, wide shot. Teenage girl huddles in the corner of a cage. Her skeletal hands clutch a rosary tightly. Panel 2, medium shot. Karen leans toward her, holding a spoonful of human meat, her smile growing wider.
Hungry yet?
I don't know. We already killed and canned the evildoers. I don't know why we got to eat them. But, Panel 3, close up. The girl trembles, shaking her head no violently. Tears streak her dirt-covered cheeks. Her lips are chapped.
You deserve what's coming because you're a dirty sinner.
Panel 4, wide shot of the twins. Megan and Catherine stare at the girl in shock. The teddy bear slips from Catherine's hand and lands in a small puddle of blood.
Don't look away, girls. This is your legacy.
Darn tootin'. Page 3, panel 1, splash page of the alley. A homeless man wrapped in grimy newspapers, sleeping against a pile of garbage, awakes to wicked cackles, glass bottles being kicked, trash cans knocked over by 4 punks walking into the alley. Their shadows loom large over the homeless man. The punk leader is in front, smirking, while the others follow behind, menacingly.
Okay,
Yes.
That says same time. Of all the versions we read this, we know that the alley scene takes place 15 years later.
Yes.
So that's a lie.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not a fan of lying. I mean,
Sure. I could see, like, they should say later, like years later. Yeah. Yes.
Or nothing at all.
Or
I mean, if you want to, not confuse isn't the right word. But if you want to give your audience a red herring or have them be confused, we don't need it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's, unless he did change something. We'll see.
Well, we're about to fight some punks, some maniacos. Page panel 1, medium shot. They surround him, towering.
Please don't hurt me.
Panel 2, close up of the punk leader, craning his neck towards the homeless man, his grin growing.
We wouldn't do that, right, boys?
They all snicker. I was watching a documentary on the making of RoboCop, and that when they throw the thug out of the back of the truck into the oncoming cop car in like the opening chase, and Clarence gives that line, "Can you fly, Bobby?" That wasn't in the script, but like the actor was like, I feel like I should like say some like cold-blooded shit here, and they're like, yeah, you should. So they like came up with it kind of like in the moment, like, "Can you fly, Bobby?" Oh, that was a good line. Anyway.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a while. I should put that back on my to watch list.
I mean, RoboCop, right? It's
classic.
It's classic. Yes.
Close up. Like the remakes.
Class up. The homeless man, head bowed, asked nervously, "What do you want?" I'll be homeless man. I can be homeless man. Panel 4, medium shot. Punk leader holds out some coins.
To help. Want some change?
Panel 5, close up. The homeless man cowers his head, barely nods. Page 5, panel 1, wide shot of the punk leader tossing coins down the alley. The coins bounce and roll into the distance. Wait, I think we may be adding...
You can have that, old man, if you can get to it.
Wait, we're adding another reader. We're now going to have a trio. Hold on, let me set up my chair properly. So Diane can join us. Hello, Diane.
Good. We're going to have some females show up. We're going to need...
Hello. We're reading scripts.
Yay.
Want to have a seat? We're reading through Rutger Osterhoff's story here.
Which one? The
Serial Twins.
Serial Twins?
Yeah. So I didn't notice I don't want to necessarily start over, but I didn't really notice too much that was all that different from last time.
I haven't noticed anything either.
Yeah, up to the first 5 pages, I should say. So we're doing stuff.
I still think the opening should be 3 pages, not 2. I feel like they need more room. And in a comic book, you go page 1, and then you open, and you have page 2, and then page 3. And I kind of feel like changing location in the middle of that open page is not, especially when you've got so much scene that you can easily spread that out over 3. I really feel like that opening needs to be 3 pages. Give us 1, 2, 3 page turn, new location, new setting. I made that comment last week, and I stand by it. I don't see why they need to be crammed into 2 pages.
Okay.
I feel like, but anyway, if Diane's ready, we can continue.
Is that the same one with them being caged up and
yes,
raw meat?
Eating
human,
ground up human noodles.
Bloody human noodle. I mean, they don't even cook the new human. Like, come on.
Like uncooked human noodles.
Yum.
Like, at least cook them.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Because you can get, like mad cow disease. That's why.
Well, if you cook them, then you.
No, that's what I said. She can get mad cow disease. That's the point.
So the point is to intentionally infect the kids with mad cow disease.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
would show consideration in order to, like, they're caged up. Why would you consider cooking the meat? I ground it for you. Thank you. You should be grateful.
There you go.
I don't know. I guess as a Fallout aficionado, like there's a whole subculture, secret society in Fallout that intentionally consumes human meat, but they don't eat it raw. They cook it, and like the high society of these undergrounds, they are like gourmage when it comes to how they cook human.
Yes, you should always go Hannibal Lecter on it. Yeah,
but like that's it. And I don't know. I just feel like the whole raw thing. Like, I don't know. It's more visceral that way. I get it, but
I don't understand. Okay, so the point is that these kids
they're
are
psychos, and
the kids were treated poorly.
So therefore,
and they grew up to be vigilantes.
Yes, and therefore, why would you need to cook the meat? That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So this is not Hannibal Lecter. Like his entire.
Yeah, but why would they need to be cannibals?
Why he cooks the way he does is that he was better than the people who ate his sister.
Okay.
Who came in? They were people who abandoned their troops. And they were traitors, and they stole the children, kept them in a barn, and then chose his sister and ate her with barely with savagery. This is why Hannibal Lecter is like, I am going to eat people. I'm going to eat the rude and these terrible people, but I'm going to do it as an aristocrat because I'm better than them. And that was kind of that's the reason why his motivation. That doesn't have that here. Okay. We don't need that here.
But that wasn't.
Well, I don't know why we need.
Which is
actually, it was in Hannibal. That's true. But the thing is that he talks about Mishka in the other books.
Okay.
So yeah.
I didn't read any of the books. I saw Silence of the Lambs twice in my entire life.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it. I saw it once as a teenager. Edited for television because that's the way my parents made me watch movies. My dad loved the movie, and I was like, eh. And then I saw it once unedited as an adult just to see, because I do that a lot of times to see if it's really as good as everybody says. And I was like, eh.
Okay.
Performances were good. The acting was good. I'm not faulting the acting.
Some progress. And
okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Before we get into a long discussion about Silence of the Lambs,
because I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
and cannibalism. It was more of a conversation about cannibalism.
Yes, it was a conversation about cannibalism.
It's like why? It's fine. It's fine. He doesn't have to cook it.
All right. Page 5.
I just don't know why they have to be cannibals.
Wide shot of the punk leader tossing coins down the alley. The coins bounce and roll into the distance.
You can have that, old man, if you can get to it.
Panel 2, medium shot. The man inches down the alley, gets kicked in the ribs, clutches his side. Panel 3, wide shot of the punks kicking and punching him as he curls into a defensive ball.
Please stop.
Panel 4, medium shot of the punk leader leaning down towards the homeless man. His grin sadistic.
What did you say?
Female voice with authority.
He said, "Leave him alone."
Panel 5, close up of punk leader. Who the hell is that? Panel 6, medium shot. A bottle shatters behind him. The punks react spooked, except the leader.
So that's it? You're not going to show us your face? Scared?
Page 6. Panel 1, wide shot of punks and the man. The punk leader spits at the ground.
Thought so. Not so tough now.
His voice bounces off the brick walls as panel 2, the man lurches away to get his chain. Oh, you know what? I think, you know what I'm realizing now.
What?
Rutger said,
This is not the one?
no, I guess it. He didn't say to read the next 10. He just hold on. What did he say? What did he say?
Oh, pause.
No, he didn't say like okay, I guess all right, I guess we're just gonna keep reading the first 10. All right, fair enough.
Did he send us more than 10 pages?
Well, this PDF goes to 72 pages, so
Oh, okay.
But we're gonna read the first 10. He didn't tell us not to read the first 10.
And next time maybe
next time
he can specify. Yeah.
Or I'll just automatically say, well, we've read these first 10 a few times now and move on,
Oh.
All right. But so far it seems, as I kind of remember it, then we got the man lurches to get his change. Megan's POV. White shot of punks. The man punk leader spits at the ground. Thought so, not so tough. His voice bounces off the brick wall. Lurch to get his change. Megan's POV. Panel 3. Playful punk leader. Go ahead, John.
Where do you think you're going?
Panel 4. Close up the homeless man's terrified face. He's whispering, trembling. It's gone. Yep. Medium shot of coins falling from above, spinning and rolling to stop on the ground.
You dropped.
You
change. Your change?
What?
You
it's
change.
you change.
You change. It's okay.
Panel 6, close up of the punk leader, startled. He looks around, his confidence wavering. Page 7, panel 1, wide shot. A shadowed figure leaps from above, delivering a brass knuckle punch that knocks the punk leader out cold.
Ah, that is new. She never had brass knuckles before.
Okay.
There we go. The story has evolved. Panel 2, medium shot of the remaining 3 punks turning. What?
No, that was a big topic of conversation last time.
Yeah, turning
her
around
knocking out a guy with one punch.
Up, but they're visibly shaken. Where that should be a where instead of a word.
Word.
Yeah, where'd she go?
Well.
Panel 3, action shot wide. The vigilante jump kicks one of the punks, sending him flying backward into trash cans. Panel 4, medium shot. She turns to the remaining punks wearing a black ninja gi with a gavel logo.
Nice.
Oh, man. Small teddy bear clicked to her belt. Her face is masked, threatening. Well, that's a whole lot going on with that one. Panel 5, medium shot. One of the punks sprints off into the main streets, leaving the alley and his buddies behind. Panel 6, medium shot. The remaining punk strikes at the female with haymakers. She dodges with ease. Panel 7, wide shot, catching his fist with her left hand. She delivers a right jab to his face.
Yep, she's back to superpowers now.
Yeah. Panel 8, wide shot. The female rummages through the punk leader's pockets, taking out wads of cash while the man watches, shocked and relieved. Page 8, panel 1, wide shot. She walks over to the man. He shudders. I'm not going to hurt you.
Is that me?
Yeah, you know what, Diane wants you to give that one.
I'm not going to hurt you.
She extends some cash to him.
That would be panel 2.
What do you say, John?
If she's walking to the man while he's shuddering, that's panel 1. Her extending cash to him would be panel 2.
I'm aware, but that's not what he wrote.
He walks over to the man.
Panel 2. Medium close-up. The female pulls out a can of black spray paint from a holster strapped to her left leg. Panel 3, homeless man standing. Who's homeless man? I guess me. These bullies have been terrorizing us for...
That was John. Homeless man was John.
What's me now?
Okay.
Panel 4, wide shot. Sudden reveal. Bullies lying on the ground, stenciled guilty on their foreheads.
Not anymore.
Panel 5, medium shot. She walks towards the main street.
Oh, these guys aren't bullies. They're pussies.
Panel 6, close up of the man smiling thinly. Page 9, panel 1, wide shot of the last punk walking briskly down the main street, his collar up, looking over his shoulder. A metal ball rattles back and forth. Clink, clink. Panel 2, close up. He turns, freezes to see. Panel 3, the female vigilante standing in the shadows at the end of her street. Her silhouette is menacing. Medium shot. He's scared stiff, seeing her eyes scowling through the mask. I'm
sorry. I'll change. I swear.
Good. Kick. Wait.
I don't know why she would say kick, but all right. She said kick.
Yeah. Kick.
Panel 5, medium shot, taking out a cash and a cell phone out of the punk's pockets. Panel 6, medium shot of the vigilante tossing the cell phone into the trash barrel. Caption, different female voice.
We better go.
What? That's exclamation. We better go.
We better go.
Page 10, panel 1, apartment night, splash page of the identical twins, Megan, 23, bleach blonde hair, and Catherine Prescott, black hair, disrobing their ninja gi. They pull off their mask. There's too much going on in this panel. Whatever. They pull off their masks, revealing frizzy, sweaty hair. They unbuckle their belts and peel back the sweaty black fabric. Their muscular physiques are scarred from past fights. I mean, I like it, you know.
Well, they now have different color hair.
And
they always had different color hair.
Oh, they always had?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them had it dyed something like bright pink or something. I forget what it was.
Anyway, well, we got their origin story with the humans being ground up in the and the child abuse and the human noodles, and then them setting out to avenge homeless people by dispatching punks.
Mm-hmm.
And best of all, they took their clothes off when they were done. And
that is the best part.
And now it's a John Lamont script.
Yeah.
maybe the mad cow disease from the raw human meat gave them superpowers.
And big boobs.
And lots of scars.
I mean, genetics and growing up will do that.
Sure. There you go. All right. I mean, you know, like I'm gonna say this is the best 10 pages of Serial Twins I've read, right? I think coming and submitting over and over again, the story gets better each time. So I'm always glad to see the progress. You know, like it delivers what you would want from an action story involving these two protagonists, I suppose. You know, they've been introduced and they're off and running.
It seems to be like this time they're working as a team.
Yes.
So the suggestion of them like taking the thugs kind of like one-on-one, like one goes into the shadows, the other one seems to appear out of nowhere. It kind of comes off that way.
A little bit.
So bravo.
Yes.
And I would not know that was a different female voice.
Well, that's why there's a caption there telling you that.
Yeah. So don't know how you would do that in a comic book.
Yeah.
Unless
it's hard when you can't see the talker, because usually in a comic book you put the arrow of the words to the person.
I guess you would put like different colors.
Yeah, what you can do different colors.
Yeah, different color balloons. All right. So far, you know, out of I think this is maybe the third version.
Yeah.
Of Serial One.
Is this the best version of Serial Twins?
So far.
You see, she agrees. Best version of Serial Twins.
So far, it is one of the better. It's definitely the better one. So. I'm kind of sad I missed my favorite part, which is the beginning.
Yeah. John Lamont.
Yeah, it had some marked changes, which I think helped. I think the inclusion of the brass knuckles makes her at least attempting to level the playing field in a fight with a superior opponent more passable. I mean, it totally gets thrown out the window in the next panel, but you know, and then referencing the two different people. Again, I don't know how you're going to do that in a comic book. And I don't know how you would do that in a movie either.
I see that John seems to have moved to construct.
I'm sorry. Okay.
That's all right.
What else? Okay. Page 10 was my favorite page because I love it when young, beautiful women take their clothes off.
Yes. Yeah. That was the best page of the 10. Absolutely. Yeah.
I definitely want more of that. You put more of that in there, you have me for a long time.
I would love more horror. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, look, we ground up some people in the first few pages,
and then we had a conversation about cannibalism. So I'm just saying.
See, Redcore, this is what your scripts have brought to the stream is conversations on cannibalism.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's certainly front and center in the story.
But then it goes away, and that's what I don't quite understand. Like I don't know. Is it shock value for the sake of shock value? Maybe. Or is there actually a purpose?
Okay, so we're gonna go move to constructive now.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. I love the beginning of the script with the child abuse and the things because I want to know how they get out. I want to know, like, how do they got into this situation? Why are they here? And all that. And then I all of a sudden have ninjas. I kind of don't care. Right. So I kind of don't care about them as adults when I care about these two twins locked in cages being fed human meat. And the fact
well, they're not the one locked in cages.
Yeah. And then like I want to know more of that story than I do of them ever becoming like adults. I just kind of want to know that. And honestly, you can make an entire story out of just that.
Yeah, well, of course.
But you're trying to do superhero. I'll get it.
I mean,
but my take is that that's where my interest is at.
I mean,
that's where the conflict
it's certainly
is. That's where
more emotionally compelling.
Yes,
because we have it's very gruesome. These people are being ground up. And children are being forced to watch, and then they're feeding the ground up remains to the kids. I mean, that's pretty horrific stuff.
Yeah.
And then we cut to, and then we dispatch some bad guys.
And it's got some bad guys, and it's like whiplash.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's
a little weird, very jarring.
Yeah.
That was kind of my point, and that I was trying to bring up, is that it doesn't feel like it fits in this story. Like, this is why I don't understand, like, why do they have to be cannibals? I get that they had a horrible upbringing and they're abusive. Like, there are different ways that you can address that if you want them to have a horrible childhood. I kind of agree with Diane that, like, if you're going to go this hard on the level of abuse, I feel like you're going to have people that are just going to be like, that story is more interesting. And if I'm not getting that story, I don't really care about the superhero thing. Like, what is this? Is this a horror story or is it a superhero action story?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and for me, the thing is that if we're going to comics, superhero stories are kind of a dime a dozen. Sure. What I would love to hear is like, hey, I want to know about these cannibal kids. So that I kind of want to know if this, it feels like the very beginning feels like a true crime.
Yeah. Like
I'm listening to a crime story. And then all of a sudden I have superheroes and it's very weird. It's very jarring. And the thing is that I'm already invested in these little kids. And then
you can't help
that because
you can't help not be
because they're kids.
They're kids.
But also like that's the
being
opening
exposed to
that's the opening conflict. And all of a sudden I'm in a totally thing about like, hey, I'm gonna beat up some thugs, which I have are nameless.
Yeah.
Who are the people who are kidnapped these kids and feeding them? Who are they? Do they get justice? I want to know that.
Yeah.
I want to know that.
I'll agree with you that it does feel like we do lower the stakes. Like we start with the stakes very high. And like, then oh my God, the kids are gonna get ground up and eaten, and then after it's so bad. And then we're like, oh, now we're just dispatching some thugs and taking our clothes off. All right.
All right, okay.
Okay.
So it's just like that they're abusing a adult homeless man.
Yeah.
And rather, like, now, if you said like they were kids,
right,
I can see that. So, and then that would be something interesting, kidnapping kids.
Yeah.
Child abduction.
Yeah.
And then, it's like, and suddenly they're like on the car going, let's stop this. We're going to protect all the kids because nobody protected us as kids. Then I can see that. So rather than, random homeless person. So, but then again, I'm still going, what about these kids?
I don't know what that is. You can have.
What is that?
Oh, are we throw it away? All right. John, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of agree because I feel like it's two different stories smashed together.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you try to do both, I think you're not going to give justice to the other. I think if you want to do a sexy, badass superhero comic, then do a sexy, badass superhero comic.
What about a sexy, badass superhero comic where their origin story is for a horrific episode of child abuse and ground up human remains?
I feel like I think you're gonna. I think your two plot lines are going to be in conflict with each other, and I don't know too many people that are going to be that interested when they sit down to read your book. It's like you have two different genres competing with each other.
Yes.
And I think you just need to pick whichever. Like I said, do you want to do the sexy superhero female badass thing, or do you want to do a horror genre? I think if you try to combine the two genres together, you're going to alienate people that are fans of one and not the other. And I think finding that crossover to somebody that's going to be okay with both. Like me personally, I love the superhero female badass thing. I'm not really a horror person. So if I picked up that book, and I mean, the horror thing is kind of a small point, so we kind of come over it, and then we never go back to it. Half the time I'm going to be like, what the hell was it even there in the first place for?
Okay.
And then if you have somebody like Diane, she picks it up, and she's going to be like, well, I was totally invested in the first 3 pages, and then I lost it after page 4.
But what if on page 15, they inexplicably start chopping up the punk leader and eating his
That's what I was gonna ask. That's what I was gonna ask.
Right.
Is
it okay if that's the payoff?
Yes.
Yes. Sure.
That was totally awesome.
Because
I'm totally for that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, because
I was gonna ask, like, unless they're like gonna chop off the person and then eat him.
Right.
So,
well, then they wouldn't need to spend any of that money they're stealing from them on groceries because at least they get their dinner bill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's like, oh, we had a panache for human meat due to our childhood.
All right, there we go. The only real note here is, in order to make the story better, they need to eat people.
Eat the rude.
Eat the rude.
Eat the
there
rude.
We go.
Eat the rude.
All right.
Do the Hannibal.
So, John, we don't have a Danny tonight. Do you want Diane and I to take a look at your story Harpies here? Or do you want to save that?
We can save it. It's fine.
Okay. Then we just have a Draco script.
Draco.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love
it? Which is not La Vigilante.
Did Draco write La Vigilante?
No, he did not.
Yeah, he didn't write La
Vigilante. No, that's not his?
No. He's better than that.
No, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Xander is La Vigilante. I get them all confused. They never show up, so I never keep them all straight.
Okay.
They need to show up.
All right. Well, here, let's take a look at the Devil's Battalion. Once again, I love this opening fade in. It's so pretty. Exterior, no man's land, Western Front, night, 1914.
Hey.
Pitch black night. The distant rumble of artillery shakes the earth. Thick fog creeps through the twisted remains of trees and barbed wire. The scent of death lingers. A squad of 7 soldiers trudges cautiously through the muddy wasteland, rifles at the ready. Their breath hangs in the cold air. All right, wait, hold on. I want to look. You know what? There's not a single passive verb in those 2 paragraphs.
Yep, I really like the opening.
Clearly, he's gotten better by listening to our advice, right? This is better than he used to write. Am I wrong, John?
I think so. What else has Draco brought?
He did like the do you remember that spaceship?
Pirates?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The bugs on the island, the planet thing. Wasn't that him?
Yes, the bugs on the planet thing. That was his.
And then the 7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah, the 7 Deadly Sin one.
There
was the zombie one.
Yeah, there was a zombie one. There was also like a kind of steampunky, like there were like cloud pirates.
Yeah, that was the 7 Deadly Sins.
Wait, that was him too? Oh, yeah, he brings so many. Yeah, he always brings the first 10 pages of whatever he's working on, but never the second 10. That's right.
Well, maybe he tires of the ideas after we beat him up, and then he goes, "Well, that was a bad one." And
Because I think it was him that Danny said the last time he brought pages that he would love to see the second 10 pages. That was his critique.
That was his take.
All right.
Oh yeah, he also did the Green Lantern one, right?
Yeah, he did the Green Lantern.
He did the Green Lantern one, which I'm really eager to read again.
Okay. Well, instead we have a squad of 7 American. Yeah, their breath hangs in the cold air. Lieutenant James Harding, mid-30s, hardened, weary, but sharp-eyed, raises a fist, a silent signal to halt. The squad freezes. Sergeant William Bill Miller, 40s, gruff, skeptical, steps forward, adjusting his helmet.
No passes.
Yeah, no, like that's awesome.
Something ain't right. This place deader than it should be.
Corporal Samuel Reynolds, young, nervous, grips his rifle tighter.
You think you missed the fight?
The gust of wind howls through the landscape. Something metallic clangs in the distance like a door swinging open.
Stay quiet.
Very good.
There you go.
All right. That was
I'm trying to
pain.
I had to cover my mouth for that so I could sound gruff.
They move forward, boots squelch in the mud. They pass an abandoned German machine gun nest, its gunners long gone. Except for their rifles and helmets, neatly placed on the ground. No bodies. Dr. Theo Cole, 30s, the squad's medic, intellectual, kneels, studying the scene.
They left in a hurry, but not from an attack.
Sergeant Miller, I will read. The only thing Germans run from is bigger Germans. A sharp crack nearby. The squad spins, rifles raised. A half-buried corpse twitches. They inch closer. A German soldier, body ripped open, entrails strewn across the mud. His hand twitches violently. Then his throat gurgles. He's still alive, barely. Private Isaac Ike Dawson, late 20s, sharp-eyed sharpshooter, grimaces. Kneeling beside him, the German's eyes dart wildly, filled with terror. He claws weakly at Ike's jacket, trying to speak.
Man, blood.
Is that me?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's he saying?
Moon blood.
Yeah. Harding turns the full moon emerges from behind the clouds. The wind picks up. The German's breathing stops. Silence. Private Robert Bobby Lewis, late 20s, charismatic but jumpy, exhales. Well, that was disturbing as hell. The German's corpse violently jerks up. His bones snap and twist. His fingernails elongate into claws. Well, this doesn't happen naturally.
It's a wolf man.
Preston and I just watched like Dog Soldiers.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, this is like we're watching the same movies.
You're watching at Dog Soldiers.
Yeah. His jaw cracks open, revealing wolf-like fangs. His eyes burn yellow. The German soldier is no longer human. A blood-curdling howl rips through the night. Chouse. Private
chaos.
I know. I know.
It's sarcasm.
Anyway,
Hashtag Star Kevin. All right.
This is an old joke from my first wife, Mary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chouse.
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 Private Dawson fires. Bang. A clean headshot, but the thing keeps moving. Sergeant Miller unloads his rifle. The bullets barely slow it down. Corporal Reynolds stumbles backward, screaming. The creature's muscles bulge. It lunges. Exterior no man's land, German bunker entrance night. The moon glares down on no man's land. The American squad is in full retreat, scrambling for cover. The creature, the transformed German soldier, is in pursuit, bounding forward on all fours like a rabid beast. Bullets rip through its flesh, but it barely slows down. Like, I feel like this writing is just way better than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't used
He's
to
a good
write
writer.
Yeah. Private Reynolds. Go ahead.
Why won't it die?
Because it ain't alive. Reynolds stumbles, nearly falling, but Lieutenant Harding yanks him up. Behind him, Private Dawson reloads his rifle. He steadies his breath, aims, bang, a clean shot to the head. The werewolf stumbles, snarling, but doesn't fall. From the shadows, more glowing yellow eyes emerge from the distant trench line. They are not alone. The howls echo in the night.
Move into the bunker now.
The
Get to the
squad
bunker.
sprints for the abandoned German bunker entrance. It looms in the darkness. Steel doors slightly ajar. Private Lewis reaches his first, shoving the doors open wider. Dr. Cole helps Reynolds inside. Miller and Harding provide cover fire, unloading their rifles into the charging werewolves. Did he pick up a buddy?
Yeah, the eyes in the tree line. Couple paragraphs up. More yellow eyes emerge from the trench.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
The creatures move like lightning, weaving through gunfire. One lunges at Miller, who says, "Oh, hell no!" He swings his rifle like a bat. Crack! The stock shatters against the werewolf's skull. It snarls, unfazed. Before it can recover, Dawson blows its knee out with a precise shot. I got the lieutenant. Who's Lieutenant Harding?
Miller, inside.
Miller dives through the bunker entrance. Harding slams the steel door shut behind him. Bang! The door buckles as the werewolves slam against it from outside.
Tell me we're safe.
Not from what's inside.
Uh-oh.
Dun, dun,
Interior
dun.
German bunker entrance hall night. Dark, claustrophobic. The air is thick with damp, rot, and old blood. The soldiers switch on their lanterns. The beams reveal a long, decaying corridor. German markings on the walls, old bullet holes, and claw marks. Great. This place smells like death.
Because it is.
The squad steps forward, their boots squelch in something wet. They look down, blood, not old, fresh.
Oh, Jesus!
They move deeper. The bunker walls are lined with empty metal cages. Some are bent open from the inside.
What the hell? They're keeping us here? What
the hell were?
What the hell were they keeping in here?
No idea, but I think they lost control of it.
They reach a German command room. Old maps, notes, and photographs are scattered around the table. Dr. Cole picks up a document. It's written in German. His face pales. Who's Dr. Cole?
Experimental log. Subject 7 has achieved full transformation. Strength inhuman. Healing instantaneous. Silver fatal weakness.
He flips the pages. A photograph falls out. The squad stares. A group of German soldiers grinning. And in the center, one of them has glowing yellow eyes.
Wait, and a black and white
photo?
photo?
Although I want to say this should be a black and white photo.
That should be a black and white photo.
I want to say this should be black and white, yeah. All right.
Unless he has glowing eyes. That would be depicted, but still, not yellow.
Yeah, exactly.
They knew what they were doing.
No shit. Damn Germans. Even in World War I, they're up to bad things. Anyway. A loud boom echoes from deeper inside the bunker. The squad whips their rifles up. The sound isn't coming from outside.
We're not alone in here.
Harding cocks his rifle. The squad moves forward into the darkness. The squad moves cautiously through the narrow corridor, lanterns flickering. The stench of rot is suffocating, the walls damp and lined with rusted pipes. The deeper they go, the more the air feels wrong. In the distance, a rhythmic dripping echoes. Water or blood, the soldiers are tense, weapons up, scanning every darkened corner.
I'm not Reynolds.
This place is a goddamn tomb.
Tombs don't fight back. Boom! A heavy thud from deeper inside the bunker. Everyone freezes. The sound is not from outside. It's coming from below.
Eyes sharp. We keep moving.
They press on, boots crunching over discarded shell casings, old medical tools, and dried blood streaks leading down the hallway. Enter German bunker medical lab night. They enter a large, grimy laboratory. Tables covered in chains, restraints, broken syringes, blood-stained surgical tools. The walls are lined with cracked glass containment units, each one empty except for deep claw marks inside.
Jesus, this wasn't a lab. This was a butcher's den.
This is catastrophic. He picks up a tattered German file. The page reads, Project Mondegling, or Project Moonblade. The photos inside reveal horrifying images of man mid-transformation, bone snapping, skin peeling, jaws distending. Notes are scrawled in frantic handwriting. I feel like this should be in German, but okay. Mm-hmm. Subject 9, test unsuccessful, aggression uncontrollable. Subject 12, healing exceeded expectations, restraints inadequate. Subject 17, fully weaponized, immune to conventional damage. Subject 18, containment impossible, facility compromised.
So, what happened to subject 18?
A beat. The answer comes from behind them. A deep guttural growl. Interior German bunker. Opposite hallway. Night. The squad whips around. Rifles raised. The hallway beyond the lab is pitch black. The lantern flicks violently. The growling grows louder. Then scratching. Something big is moving. In the dark.
Tell me, that's the wind.
An inhuman exhale. Heavy footsteps. And then silence. The tension holds, and then a massive shadow moves. The beast charges from the dark. A hulking werewolf, larger than any they've seen before, 8 feet tall, flesh stitched together like a failed experiment. Its yellow eyes burn. Its jaws lined with an extra row of teeth. It was once human, but not anymore. The alpha werewolf, the squad, what?
Nothing. I just hate when they do that to werewolves.
You can't have an alpha werewolf?
No.
Why not?
Oh.
Why can't you have an alpha werewolf?
It's just stupid. Good, keep going. Okay.
Is that the whole concept? You kill the alpha and everybody that turn because of it? Yeah. I hate when they do that too. Like, have your actions actually have consequences in your story.
Yeah, that, or is it simply the leader and you just call it the alpha?
Yeah, it could be. So, it could just be the leader.
But sometimes it could be just like the Borg Queen. You kill it and everything dies.
Yeah. It's a very unfortunate. When they do that with your vampire, they do in vampire stories too, which is really.
Yeah, we've been watching some vampire stories lately,
and we were just watching something rather similar to this.
Yeah,
I was watching Dog Soldiers. So
the squad fires in unison, a thunderstorm of bullets. Bang, bang, bang. Silver streaks through the air, ineffective. Where'd they get silver? I don't know where they got silver.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where they got silver.
The Alpha smashes into Private Dawson, sending him crashing into a steel table.
Wow, and he can speak while being crashed into a steel table. Fall back. And why is the Private giving commands? I guess we'll discuss that later.
Well, because he does not want to stay there. So
let's get the hell out of here.
Fall back. Miller grabs a grenade and hurls it. Boom. The explosion shakes the bunker. Fire illuminating the beast for a split second. When the smoke clears, the Alpha is still standing.
What's taking him so long?
Well, they technically weren't given a command to fire.
No. What's taking the Alpha so long? Why is he moving so slow? That's going to be my other comment.
That's true.
Because they haven't impressed him yet. He's like, whatever, I'm just standing here.
They move at the speed of the plot. That's another thing we'll discuss later.
Okay.
We are so fucked.
The squad scrambles back towards the exit, retreating deeper into the bunker. My question is the exit deeper in the bunker? I mean, I guess maybe it is. I don't know.
Didn't we go down?
I mean, I would think that the exit might not be deeper in the bunker. The exit might be the way they came in might be the only exit, but I don't know. I didn't write it. Harding grabs a rusted pipe, jamming it into a doorway to slow the beast. The Alpha slams into it. The metal bends.
Move now!
They retreat down a side passage. Behind them, the pipe snaps like a twig. The Alpha lets out an earth-shaking howl. German bunker, ammunition storage, night. The squad bursts into a locked room, slamming the door shut behind them. They barricade it with whatever they can. They breathe heavily, adrenaline pumping. The bunker creaks under the weight of the monster outside.
What the hell was that?
It was Subject 18. Dun, dun, dun.
He pries open a
Thank you. I was about to do the same thing.
He pries open a sealed weapons case inside rows of silver bullets. Well, now we're talking. Harding grabs a handful, loading them into his rifle. The Alpha howl echoes through the halls.
I hope it's the right caliber for their rifles.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Let's send this bastard straight to hell.
I mean, potentially, maybe there were also some rifles there, and
but that's not what the script says.
That is not what the script says. Yeah,
that's true.
Interior German bunker, ammunition storage night. The room is dimly lit by a single flickering lantern. I just want to say, you could say, a single flickering lantern lights the room.
And it's also, the same room they're still in, and you don't need a new slug.
So wasn't this an abandoned bunker? Why is there a lantern flickering?
Because there was.
Maybe somebody would need to have lit the lantern. Which is the first thing they should have done. The first thing they should have done when they entered the ammunition storage room was light the lantern.
Sure. Yeah.
So they could see the silver bullets, and then cut the slug in between a continuation of the same scene in the same location. Because that's very confusing.
Reloads frantically, swapping their standard bullets for silver rounds. Their hands shake, whether from exhaustion or sheer terror is unclear.
We got what? A handful of these things?
30 rounds. That's all the Germans had.
Guess they didn't last long enough to use them.
30 rounds is enough for one rifle.
Sure.
So which one of these 7 guys is going to get the silver bullets?
Or 30 rounds could be like,
4
each. Rounds for 7 guys, Don't need to hit a werewolf with a silver bullet once, right?
Technically no. But all right.
Why not? I didn't know we ran experiments and discovered the werewolves are actually resistant to silver rounds unless you fire multiples.
Usually it's multiples.
Okay, yeah. Because
silver just stopped. They just don't heal from silver.
If you hit a werewolf in the hand, that's gonna stop it.
Oh, okay, but what if you hit it dead center?
That's fine.
Okay,
but you gotta say that.
Okay, well, no, it's just if you got one bullet, make it count. Don't shoot it in the hand.
Yeah. Shoot in the.
Well, Blade would say through the head or through the heart. Other than that, it's your ass.
I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is shoot at the head through the heart, but what happens if you miss? And you're just like, oh yeah, one bullet.
We don't spray and pray. We aim head or heart. Nothing else but very good, Lieutenant Harding, voicing and silencing the critics right there, right there. Lieutenant
that's
Harding.
A good screenplay right there.
That's it.
Don't spray. Okay.
A long, deep exhale. The squad nods their soldiers. It's time to fight. Interior German bunker, lower hallway night. The soldiers move cautiously down the corridor, silver-loaded rifles raised. Their footsteps echo. Too quiet, too still. A distant thump, a slow dragging sound. Something huge is moving. They reach a fork in the hallway. The left leads back into the bunker entrance, their only exit. The right descends deeper underground. Private Lewis.
There, we get out. We call in the artillery and we bury this place. It's the only way to be sure.
You really think that this thing's gonna let us walk out?
We're not walking. We're hunting.
Hunting.
A beat, then a chilling guttural chuckle from the dark. The squad freezes. That wasn't an animal sound.
Did that thing just laugh?
A slow, heavy breath from down the corridor. Then the Alpha speaks.
Oh, okay, okay.
You should have left while you could.
Oh, wait, Diane wants this one.
Oh,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I want to do the Alpha Wolf.
All right.
What is that?
All right.
You should have left while you could.
Harding doesn't flinch. I'm not Harding.
Oh, that thing's talking. Don't mean it's not dying tonight.
Miller grins darkly. Damn right. And that's 10 pages. So awesome. Good job.
That was an interesting twist.
That was.
It talks. Dun dun
Yeah,
dun.
it talks. Yeah. Okay. So, werewolves and stuff. I mean, look, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Draco tends to turn in pages that, read pretty well. And I think he's putting the time into making his craft better, and his pages are getting better, and his scenes flow pretty well. So, like this is a werewolf story in World War I. It feels like it feels appropriate. It does what a werewolf story in World War I should do. I'm going to say good job.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely feels period. And definitely has a lot of the what would be the word, werewolf fandoms, yeah. It definitely hits all of that. So, a lot of things in here for fans of werewolf stories to love.
Damn.
I liked it. I mean, I'm gonna say that I keep messing up the characters because there's so many of them. Despite that, I like the surprise with the Alpha Wolf is talking.
Yes.
I'm not entirely sure if there seems to be other werewolves that came out, but there seems to be only 2, I guess. I assume
Unnamed werewolf from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then Alpha Wolf.
And Alpha Wolf, which I do not know because I don't know where the other wolf went.
They're outside apparently.
Okay, all right. So So far, I like it. I will reserve anything else for criticism.
And in terms of constructives, here on page 7, when you say silver streaks through the air, when I'm reading that suggests to me they're already firing silver bullets, but they weren't actually. They were just firing regular old lead bullets. So I feel like you should fix that. Also, you're making use of bold, which is not something you're actually supposed to do in screenplays. I know it feels like cool and stuff, but you shouldn't. It's
Why? Out of curiosity.
It's not necessary, really.
What?
It's not really necessary.
Okay.
And it's you can't use bold to emphasize something if everything's in bold, because then you don't know what to emphasize.
Yeah. There you go. Each rifle takes 5 rounds. Okay, fine. But yeah, it's you end up after a while, as you kind of did, you look at the pages, like half the words are bold,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? It's
so
I know I'm here to kill like but I like that part, but it's you don't really need bold in your screenplays. You just don't need it. I mean outside but look, that's a very nitpicky little technical note. Really, I think your story, the first 10 pages are fine. one thing about epistolary, which is, letters or notes or something, because H.P. Lovecraft loved those damn things.
Oh
H.P.
God,
Lovecraft,
yes.
his stories would always be, oh, there we go. Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
see. It looks like my conversation with Googs
Oh.
yielded something.
Oh.
Anyway, but the epistolary tales are like sometimes they're like with Lovecraft. There's one where like there's a guy who's there in like the cave with like the dark horror stuff, and he's writing down like all this. Oh my god! And now it's eating me. I'm like, would you really be writing that down?
Yes.
And like I feel like if like
in a Lovecraft story, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I always assume like, yeah, is it now it's eating me? And I'm like, so it goes from writing to him just saying it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I assume that's, or he's narrating to somebody.
Is that like the classic of the found footage movie where they're filming things that a real person would never film in reality because they'd be like dropping the phone and running for their life, or running to help the person rather than filming it?
You'd be amazed in this world now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. No, it's fine. Go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's passable. I think there's a few. I have a few issues with the first 10 pages because you fall into a lot of traps that a lot of people typically fall into. Like, granted, it sounds like you're going to do something different with the alpha thing, so hopefully Diane and Mai's original groan on the alpha is unless of course you're going to make him a good wolf and he has to die to stop all the wolves, then why do you, and you want to make him a good guy, but then why not just kill yourself and save the day? But that being said, I feel like you fall into a few pitfalls, and one of them is, so werewolf turns okay, let me go back. So the werewolves move at the speed of the plot. So if the plot needs the werewolves to move fast, they move fast. And if the plot needs our heroes to get away, then the werewolves slow down. So like werewolf turns and immediately everybody starts shooting at him instead of saying, what the hell just happened? They've never seen this thing before, and yes, it looks scary, but I feel like it really needs to literally bite somebody's head off before everybody finally comes to their bearings and goes, what the fuck, and starts shooting.
Yeah.
You've got way too many characters. I feel like that you really could need to thin the herd, and doing a werewolf thing with this many characters is a really, really good way to just knock out one or two people right off the bat. Like, one guy needs to get his head torn off when the thing transforms. And then as they're running away, like all of a sudden he shoots the werewolf he stops, turns around, shoots it. The bullet doesn't do anything, so he hits him in the head with the butt of his rifle, and then somebody else shoots him. Like, how slow is this werewolf moving that all of this can happen? Why is he not catching up? Like, as they're running away, he should run up, grab onto somebody, and then he can wait a few minutes while he's chowing down on this guy to give everybody else a reason to get away. Then you don't have this whole contrived, them only plot armor thing. And it's kind of the same thing you do when you introduce the alpha. You kind of do the same thing again. Like, and I don't know if you're trying to make him a good guy, then you have an excuse because you don't go too long before he starts talking. So if you are going to make the alpha a good guy, which I'm all on board for, I think it's a really, really good plot twist. That you will then have an excuse for why he's acting dumb. If he intentionally only pushes the guy rather than actually tries to kill him. Otherwise, if he's just as bad as everybody else, then he shouldn't. When a bad guy has an opportunity to kill somebody and doesn't because the plot needs that character later, that's lazy writing. And I feel like this genre, the supernatural horror genre, especially when supernatural horror tries to do action, it's too easy to fall into that. And I would just say try to be smarter about the writing to avoid falling into those pitfalls. Keep those pitfalls in mind and try to really, really think about that. Oh, and another thing I'll also throw in there, which really, really grinds my gears in this genre, is the time it takes for somebody to turn. Because like zombie movies are the worst at it. Like, how long does it take somebody to turn into a zombie? That depends on how long the plot needs them to stay a human.
And you know, you see that time changing. You know, for instance, like how long does it take after you've been impregnated by an alien for the chest burster to appear? Well, that depends on the movie, really.
Yeah, like there seems to be no set time. It's just when the plot needs the chest burster to burst out, that's when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's, again, is lazy writing. So I would almost encourage you, if you want to pursue this story, is think about all these things in advance and then stick to that. Like, you don't have to write it down. Nobody has to come up with a clock because you don't have to get yourself that specific, but at least know in your mind what it is. And then if you have, so for example, when I was working on my vampire script, that was one of the things that I came up, because vampire stories do it all the time. Somebody gets bit, they're a vampire instantly. Somebody else, they get bit, and it's like takes them half the damn movie because the plot doesn't want them to turn until the last minute, or the plot wants them to get the anti serum or whatever. So I came up with a device where it was based on the amount of blood that the character lost during the attack. If they got bit quick and they lost very little, it could take up to 24 hours. But if they got bit and they were drained completely, they could be back up in 3 hours. And that was the kind of the time that, and it's anywhere in between, never actually written down. It's never explicitly explained. But that was the rule that I created for myself to keep myself consistent. And then I just don't do anything that violates that rule, no matter what. Or I have them blood drained sufficiently to make it align with the storyline. So I work it into the story and into the lore that I'm creating. So that's just something I'm not saying you're doing this because we haven't read enough of your story. I'm just throwing it out there as something to think about as you're developing this story, so that you don't fall into that common pitfall of it taking however long the plot needs it to take. Figure out what it is it's going to be for you, and then just stick with that and be consistent throughout. It'll really, really help with the suspension of disbelief. But other than that, kill off some motherfuckers. You got too many characters. It's a little hard to keep them all straight. And it raises the stakes early on. Because if you got a werewolf popping up and all this shit going down and our 7 characters are still alive, I just feel like
you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. It lowers the stakes. And I feel like, okay, these people aren't really in danger. They all got plot armor, which means they're only going to die when the plot tells them that they can die. Right. Rather than it just being, and if you want to make a joke out of it, have them kill the private first or something, because it's always the private that goes first.
There you go. Awesome.
Well, the thing is that we're going to cite Aliens as an example here. So they bring in the troops.
Yeah.
And they seem to be fine at first until the sergeant dies. Because the lieutenant is giving the orders, but he's like, out in like the little truck and everything. And then the sergeant is leading the privates, and all of a sudden, like, they're doing fine. But once the sergeant dies, like, everything's chaos after that, because you don't have a leader. The Apone dies. Yeah. Gorman, the lieutenant, can't communicate to them.
He's not a good leader.
Not a good leader. He's like, that's his second mission.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's never seen combat.
Seen combat, all this stuff. And that, and it kind of like, people always ask me, like, why is if they're so good, why is this happening? Well, first off, the lieutenant is dumb.
Yeah.
The lieutenant's dumb and inexperienced, and the sergeant, probably the most experienced out of all of them, died. And now they have no leader. They're not organized. They don't know where the shift of power is.
Yeah.
Half of them are dead by this point.
Yeah.
And now they're just leaving. They just run. So, and also the thing is also that Gorman told them to take all their weapons.
Well, yeah, like they have,
you took all of like
the they have flame units only,
flame units only, and like short controlled bursts, basically.
Well, no,
there was the firearms and flamethrowers. That's it. But they couldn't use like the explosives. No explosives.
Right. Yeah. There's to collect all the grenades.
I
want you to collect clips from everybody.
Yeah. So, and then that's basically happened. So therefore, this entirely very seasoned unit ends up like going down so quickly. And then that's where the stakes here, like you keep taking the weapons away. Yeah. Anyway, here's my thing. I enjoy werewolves very much, but I'm very, very picky about them because I've seen so many very bad werewolf films and they are kind of formulaic, and it's really hard to do something new with something like that because it's the beast. It's a giant monster that just kills people. Now, how do you can do things like, is that werewolf going to be a person? Then it's all about like, oh, I got to try to control the beast, or I have to end up killing myself. And it was like, it's never like anything in between. So, and then you have like the pack. This story actually reminds me of a movie that I just recently showed Preston, which was Dog Soldiers, which was a British film. And it came out like, I want to say 2019, something like that, just before COVID kind of hit. And it was about like a military unit was going on a training exercise, and they get attacked by werewolves. And then majority of the film is like in a cabin. So in a cabin, just trying to survive. And the werewolf effects are great. But the thing is that there was a character that completely baffled me, and it still baffles me to this day, which is that they made the werewolf like could control how they change, and yet the other werewolves can't. And that always pissed me off. Always pissed me off. And they never really give an explanation why. I don't know if this one can control it because why? Is she older? Is that why? Doesn't say that. Doesn't insinuate that. And the other ones only come like they only transform at the full moon. Yeah, I'm like, so what's the deal? And they don't really explain it. It bugs the shit out of me. Still does. And this is probably another one. Like, I always hate it when the werewolves, like the clouds cover the moon, and then they revert back to human. I never liked that. Full moon's out. You're just a werewolf, okay? Just stay that way. So for this, you have way too many characters. I completely agree. Couldn't keep track of them. Definitely, why do we still have 7 characters by the end of the 10 pages? Don't know. Definitely kill them off. If you want like panic, kill off like the lieutenant. Like, but the thing is that lieutenant wasn't really giving much orders, to be totally honest. Didn't seem to be leading them. I don't know if they were in formation. They were just kind of going down.
Well, you can't really be
in a bunker,
in a formation,
in a bunker,
and too much, going
down a bunker. And I was confused. That you mentioned silver bullets, but then they just gathered silver bullets later.
Right.
That just remove that.
Yeah.
You definitely needed to explain that they need silver bullets. They found them and they have to split them up, and then you only have so many bullets now. And that does raise the stakes, but also, are they the same caliber? Which is what we were talking about. Like, God, I hope they're the same caliber, or you're gonna be fucked. So, also, just a small.
They can have some German rifles in the bunker, which they probably should, because they're probably using American or British. No, Americans had their own guns, so they're probably using American guns, and they probably, yeah. I think I doubt that the calibers
match
are the same.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I didn't look at World War One. I did look at World War Two when I was, doing my stuff, and yeah, the rifles were not the same. The Americans were the only ones with automatic rifles because we invented them. And they were a different.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Because I was actually going to have the Germans have automatic rifles, and I was like, oh, they didn't really have them. It's like pretty much the Americans had them, and then it was like an early version of the M16 was
jammed like shit, man. That
in World War One.
Yeah.
Wasn't World War, was that the M1 Garand, or was that
no? Like the American guns jammed like shit because they had like early automatics, man.
Sure.
So the German ones didn't clog as much. Yeah.
Oh sure.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I
would double check that. Best case scenario is just look at what kind of guns that they use, that the Germans would have likely had, and then just make sure that you explain that those guns are in the armory along with the bullets.
Yes.
And then I think that'll fix that whole problem for you.
Also, I'm a little puzzled why grenades weren't used. I know you're in a bunker like later on, but still, why no grenades? And also, I'm kind of curious, if you're using a grenade, does Monster Squad Wolfman happen, where you blow up the Wolfman and then he just puts himself back together? Does that? Remember, like, they only die from silver bullets. Doesn't mean if you explode into a million pieces, do the pieces come back? So that's all I'm saying.
Well, and going back to my vampire story, that was actually another thing that I also thought through, was about like fire and explosions and all of that. And what I eventually worked out was flesh regrows, bones don't.
Okay.
So that's where I drew the line. So if the bones were, so if an arm got cut off, like I had a character who literally had their arm cut off and they had to get another arm and then they could attach that. But theirs was like gone because it got shredded. So they had to literally find another human, chop off a limb, and then put it on theirs. And then they did some funky mandolin stuff, and the bone was able to reheal because it was just broken. But like if it's gone, then it's gone. But fleshy parts will just grow back on their own.
That makes sense because werewolves are supposed to have like intense healing anyway.
Yeah.
And I would also love to see a flamethrower and just burn the shit out of a werewolf and just see what happens, because I'm kind of curious what would happen. And then you would probably get even a scarier werewolf after you that's burned up. So that's all I'm saying. Smells like burnt hair, man. Yeah. So burnt dog,
wet dog,
burnt wet dog. So
I think you got the makings of a good story. I said it's just a lot of the stuff that Diana given her is just like pitfalls that we've seen in other genres have done. So like think through those things and try to avoid falling into them. And that will help. It'll make your story stand out a lot from the crowd, because there's a lot of them that are just way too lazy in their writing. Because they just don't think through it, or they need the plot, they need things to happen, or let's raise the stakes so the main character gets bit. And then they spend the last the last act of the film trying to heal their transformation when everybody else in the story gets bit and they turn in seconds.
The other one is also that with the alpha wolf, if this goes into the fact that usually they often don't talk because the beast has taken over. And so therefore, if this thing talks and can have like, you can possibly, one of the things about werewolves is that you can't negotiate with it because the human part is gone within the beast. So is this thing negotiable? Can you talk to this thing? I mean, can you negotiate your life? Can you reason with it? again, this also goes back. I don't know if it's a good guy or I don't know if it's a bad guy. Also, and if that is the case, would werewolves follow someone that is not fully bestial? Because if you can, like, if the others can't be reasoned with, why is there the alpha reasonable? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, why would they follow this person? So out of curiosity, are they not following this person? Maybe he's a rogue and he is an ally.
Yeah.
Who knows? And get some explanation for that. So yeah.
If you do go that route, you'll need to explain why some werewolves are bestial and some still have their cognitive functions.
Yes,
is he
exactly.
the only one? Is there others that are out there like him? What makes
was
them
he
different?
part of the experiment? If he is subject 18, were they trying to make him reasonable so therefore they can use him as a weapon?
Well, I think they turned him into werewolves.
They turned him into it.
So maybe, and again, maybe when he bit somebody else, it got diluted.
Okay.
No, we don't
need your character.
Yeah, we don't need character arcs. We need the story to tell us.
Exactly.
Tell us you're in the story.
Yeah.
Give us, as Danny said, give us pages 11 through 20. Let us continue reading something, and then we'll get the character arc. Because it doesn't matter what's in your notebook; it matters what's in the script.
Yes, I agree.
What's in?
By the way, today, just so you know, I got pitched a script today, and I read it, and I liked it, and I called Googs, and we're talking about it, and I'm gonna have a Zoom call with the screenwriter director guy, and attached in the email to the script was also the pitch deck. I never opened the thing because I don't give a shit I don't need your little visuals. I make comic books. I make cool visuals. I don't need your visualization. Just give me the script. Let me read it. I'll tell you if I like it. And I feel like a lot of screenwriters are like Drake. We need a trailer. You don't need a pitch deck. You just need a good script.
Yeah.
Yeah, the notes are for you. Like what and when I was saying like how long does it take for them to turn? What are the different rules of your universe? That's what goes in your notebook. We don't need to know that. If your film comes out and it makes $1 bazillion and somebody wants to go and they want to buy the Bible for your movie, then you can put all of your notes into your little movie Bible.
And I want you to
sell that.
I am that person who would buy that.
There you go.
Yeah, and there are like Star Wars, like for example, like how many books from Star Wars are there on the ships and the droids and all of that stuff? Like people just eat that stuff up, but most of that crap's not ever actually in the movie.
Yeah.
So like all that stuff should be in your notebook, but we don't need to see that. We just want to see what's in the script.
Believe me, I drool over like Guillermo del Toro's notebooks when he does films. Man. Oh man, this stuff is, and it's all like in Spanish too. So I'm over here like translating the shit.
Well, he's a master though.
Yeah.
Anyway, there we go.
Alrighty.
Hope that's
next
all
week.
helpful.
Hopefully, we'll have more scripts and Danny and Danny's friend Joseph. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows?
I think didn't Danny say he was on set? I know he's doing letters on Harpy 1, and I think he's also on various movie sets right now.
That's awesome. Good for him. All right, cool. All right, well, next week then. Unless anyone else. Take care and good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Yeah.